So as far as the you guys are in the game world that you normally inhabit, the homebrew one that I made. So
goddamn Calgar.
Yep, you're in Calgar again, but you're on the southern border near the Elven Forest, and you are prepping at Fort Hartway to descend into the forest. And you're not really sure why. You guys are all a crack squad of rangers, and you go in and out of the forest all the time. But usually you don't probe too deeply into the forest because the native elves are extremely hostile. Again, this is in an era before Cham. You killed all of them.
Yeah, fuck them. So this gives me more fuel to the fire of why I needed to burn them.
Except you're playing a different character at that point, but fuck it. Okay, so basically, you guys don't know what the mission briefing is yet. You just know that you're going to be going in, and you don't exactly know what's going on. So as you guys are kind of prepping your gear and stuff like that, in walks a short little orange man with a really big mustache, and his name is Sergeant Lorax. I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. Get your asses into the tent for the debriefies. So he's telling you guys to go to the main fort building because you guys are going to get briefed on the mission you're going on.
Okay, so it's Sergeant Lorax?
Sergeant Lorax. So are you guys going to follow him to the debrief?
Got it, Sergeant. We'll head over there.
All right, Sergeant Lorax leaves and expects you to follow behind him. He's going to go to the main building in the fort, and in there you have the fort commander, whose name is Arthur, and he has a bunch of things laid out for you, and you see what looks like a few guards that look like they're part of like the King's Guard, the Royal Guard. They're wearing very ornate armor.
What's he? All right, Colonel.
He's a full bird.
He's a full bird.
Yep. So you guys all walk into that room, and on the table looks to be laid out a map of the Elven Forest, and more specifically, the area of the border where the fort is kind of based. And also, like I said, in that room are some Kingsguard. They're in some very kind of ornate armored uniforms, and they're also there to supply information. So Sergeant Lorax walks up to the front and looks at him. Colonel, what do you got for us? The colonel then looks around to the room. Good, you've gotten all of your men here. We have a situation. He basically explains to you that the king's nephew, who's a dumbass, decided to take a hot air balloon trip, and unfortunately they caught an upwind and they were whisked off towards the Elven Forest in the middle of the night. And so what happened was it appears that the elves have shot down the balloon very deep inside elf territory, so you guys are getting sent in to extract him.
All due respect, sir. They're wanting us to go in there, bind his son in the middle of all this shit. All due respect, sir, that's pretty fucked up.
You have a problem with your orders, Corporal?
No, sir. I will do my orders. But it's pretty fucked up. I know what's in those woods.
I know, son, but it falls on somebody to do this. He points to the map and he says that's roughly the area where the ship went down. But you guys are going to get air transport to get as far in as possible to get to the drop zone. So there is actually transport waiting for you outside that's going to carry you a decent ways into the forest. It's kind of near dusk right now, so you're going to be going under cover of darkness. So hopefully you won't get seen by too many elves on the way in or anything like that. So hopefully you can sneak your way in pretty quietly. That's the idea. So yeah, he points to that, and the King's Guard basically give you a drawn photo of the nephew, so you can identify him.
Oh, he looks like a dumbass.
Looks like a prissy asshole.
So Sergeant Lorax grabs that and tucks that into his little leather camo jacket there, and he's ready to get going. He looks back to the crew. He says, "You heard him, boys. All right, wait."
Fuck! As I open my hood, I'm gonna whistle, and here comes freaking Snowball, my wolf.
All right, Snowball runs up to you and licks your face.
Oh, so we get to summon our
Snowball's a
animals
good
now?
boy.
Well, your animals should be kind of around. So yeah, your animals should be there too, Purity. Your very, very, very young owlbear.
He's just chilling and playing in some grass, so I'm gonna go pick him up.
You guys can load up or do whatever you want at the base, but the transport is waiting.
I'm gonna go look for some supplies we might need.
Okay, you're gonna go to the requisitions area?
Yep.
Okay, so you go there. Arch, Kane, are you guys gonna do anything?
Nah, I'm gonna pull out a smoke.
All right, you light up a little tobacco pipe there, and
I'm gonna bring up my reefer freaking joint.
as you do that, Sergeant Lorax whips out a bigger one.
And
Always gotta play the big cock game, huh, Sergeant?
You know it. You gonna smoke this gorilla knuckle with me, or you gonna look at it?
Buff, give, fucker.
Damn straight. So you're gonna smoke with Sergeant Lorax. You're gonna roll Constitution.
That is a 19.
So yeah, you rolled a 19. So you hit that really good. You're grooving right now with Sergeant Lorax. All right, Sergeant Lorax rolled a 10. So he's a small little guy, but he's messed up on reefer, but he's smoking that thing like a Cuban cigar. So yeah, he's gonna go out with you, and you guys are just kind of like grooving. Yep. So you go up to your ride, which is basically kind of like a hot air ship, sort of. It has a propeller on the back that's driven by a bicycle-like device, and there is a dwarf sitting on that bicycle who appears to be reading a book. So Kane's not going to do anything. Arch, you guys are just kind of all hanging out. So Purity, you're going to go to the requisitions officer.
Yep.
Okay. So you walk into the requisitions. And there is a guy behind the counter. You see that the room is kind of lined with swords and shields and armor and bows and arrows and various other supplies, potions and stuff like that are on the back wall.
What will make sure I don't die because of these idiots?
Healing potions would do that. He's going to give you 2 health potions. So you have 2 basically medium health potions, like a medium of cure moderate wounds. So you got your stuff, so you're going to go back to the airship?
Yep, I'm going to head now. I've got all the supplies that we might need.
So you head back to the airship, and the other guys are all kind of there. Cham and Sergeant Lorax are baked out of their minds, and Kane and Arch are just kind of there. And sitting on the bicycle that basically drives that ship is a dwarf, and the dwarf looks and says, "Hi, my name's Huey."
God damn it.
Hi there! Get on board, we're going behind enemy lines. Alright, so you guys load up into this kind of flying ship. It has basically kind of like 2 balloons on either side, so it stays sort of balanced, and there's like a deck on the in-between part where the propeller setup and everything is. So as soon as he cuts the rope that holds that thing to the ground, you guys start flying off into the sky ever so slowly towards the forest. Now you guys are going to have some downtime, so you can do whatever you want.
Is there like a deck gun?
No, there is not a deck gun.
Damn, we ain't got no barbecue? We ain't got nothing here? Nothing?
Yeah, no, you got dry goods. That's basically what you got.
Huey, listen. A barbecue ain't no fucking food, alright? A barbecue is a flamethrower. You got one.
I got one out the ass.
Where the fuck are the weaponry to protect this fucking thing?
It's a stealth ship, lad. There ain't no weaponry.
Fucking hell, Huey. Oh, we're gonna fucking die.
I mean, we have weaponry.
You have bows and arrows, yes. You have there is some extra ammo up there for you, but there is not a whole lot of things you can do with the ship because it's meant to be basically a stealth ship. They kind of just slapped this thing together at the last minute so you guys can go in there.
All right, so I'm gonna go near a pillar.
As you guys are flying through the sky, you notice what appears to be a small, very small white dot on that's showing up to the left side of the ship. You're gonna have to roll perception to see if you can see anything else.
15.
Purity, you got a 6, so that's Arch got a 10.
God, I'm playing the stupid one.
It's a
Okay.
15.
So Kane, you and Cham both notice that it appears to be a winged horse, and it's being ridden on by an elf, and it's coming right at you.
We got a fucking spy, guys. I'm gonna load up my knock an arrow.
So you're gonna have to wait a little bit until he gets closer, but as soon as you get in range, you'll be able to fire.
Well, I got far shot.
Oh, you do? Okay, you have far shot? All right, then you can fire he'll come into range a lot sooner, but you can fire as soon as that happens, which is right about now.
Boo, baby! First nat 20 of the night.
God fucking
First nat 20 of the night.
And that's gonna crit too. All right, roll the 2d10.
Yes.
24.
All right, so you fire the arrow at the elf, and as he's coming to, he has like a spear kind of. He was trying to basically, lance you. Basically, that's kind of the idea. Is he was coming in to do that, but as you fire it, the arrow goes right through his left eye, and he just falls off the horse and falls down into the forest. He's dead as fuck. He's dead, but the Pegasus is still flying around you basically, so you can do stuff if you'd like with that.
With our ranger gear, we should have rope.
Oh, I'm gonna
Yes.
grab some rope and try to tame it.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna lasso it, I assume?
Yep.
You're gonna need to roll a dexterity check, and you're also going to need a use rope. You're gonna add your use rope stat to that, which should be on your skills section. It's near the bottom. You rolled a 20. Okay.
Okay.
So you're able to lasso the Pegasus. Now roll a strength roll to make sure it doesn't pull you off the vessel.
So
I think the cherry's about to get pulled
It's
off.
going to be just a straight strength mod. Your strength roll was not high enough, so you are pulled off the deck and you are hanging onto the rope which is attached to the Pegasus.
Am I able to try to do a reflex save?
What are you going to do specifically? Cut the rope?
Oh no, just
Or-
grab onto her legs and pull her in. Well,
Okay,
that was a
so-
16.
Okay, you have enough of a reflex save, but you're also going to need to roll a strength save because if she's still hanging on to it.
That is a 15 plus 2, that's a 17.
Okay, I'm going to say that's enough to keep her on the deck so she doesn't fly off with the horse. But the horse is basically kind of like the rope is kind of acting like a leash at this point. Apparently, you're going to try and ride that Pegasus as it's tied to the ship. I'm gonna say that you tied the rope to the Pegasus, and now you're going to have to roll a ride roll. You are able to ride the Pegasus as the Pegasus proceeds to pull the sky ship along towards its destination. And now that the fuckery has ended, for at least the time being, and you guys have taken care of the Elven scout who spotted you, the Pegasus rides you to your drop-off area where, unfortunately, there appears to be a lot of little glowing lights in the forest. Again, it is nighttime.
this is not good.
I'm gonna roll a spot check. See if there's any Charlies in the bush. That is a 14.
Cham, you're able to discern that some of those lights look like small little flames, and you can see around some of them you're seeing faces, elvish faces, and you're also seeing bows, which means those may be flaming arrows.
I'm gonna relay that to Huey and the rest of the guys on board.
Okay, you relay that to all them. Huey looks around and says, "Hey, we're gonna make a sharp turn, lads, and we're gonna get you down there before they start." Oh my god! As he's doing that, the arrows begin firing up into the air. Roll to see how many of them actually hit.
This is going to shit.
We're gonna die.
Okay, 9 of those arrows are able to strike the ship and light it ablaze, but Huey is bringing it down hard into the trees right now. So as you guys go down, he blasts it down into the trees, and since it's kind of a balloon, it gets hung up on one of the larger tree branches and kind of like, just stands there. So you guys are going to have to roll dexterity to make sure you don't fall off and fall down to the forest floor.
I got a 23.
That'd be 18.
18, okay. Kane, what's yours?
I'm also holding on to my wolf.
All right, Kane. All right, so everybody rolled high enough to hang on to the ship during the crash, and it appears that Huey is still sitting on the bicycle, but he's not moving.
I think Huey's dead.
Hey!
You also hear a coughing coming from him after a second. He appears coughing, and he lets out a very loud groan. You can't see the front of him. You're only seeing him from the back.
I'm gonna run up to him.
As you run up to him, you see that there are several arrows that are embedded into his chest, and he appears to be dying. He hands you a piece of paper and says, "Give it to my grandmother." Oh.
I'm gonna immediately use Cure Light Wounds on him.
He is just expired.
Ah, damn it. Alright. I'm gonna grab his dog tags.
You grab those and put them in your pocket.
Hey, Sergeant,
Yeah, Corporal.
what do we do from here?
First thing we do is we get down from here. They're going to be coming over here. They saw the crash. They shot at us. We're going to need to find some cover, so get down to the forest floor, gentlemen. Sergeant Lorax is simply going to use his ability, speak with plants, and he speaks to the tree, and the tree actually lowers you all to the ground safely. So the ship has crashed, so you guys are on the forest floor. You very quickly vacate the area before the elves show up to try and arrest you or detain you or kill you. Now, as far as where you are able to navigate via the sky in terms of your navigating based on the stars, and you do have a map. So you do know where you need to go in order to find the area where the original balloon crashed.
All right, guys, I think we should go this way to the left because it looks like this will be the quickest and easiest route to the balloon.
Sergeant Lorax is plowing his way through the woods, and you guys are making your way to where the balloon crash is. It takes you probably about 6 to 7 hours to actually reach the crash site to where that is, just by, traversing your way through the jungle. You don't really run into very many more elves. It seems like a lot of them they all kind of closed in on the area where your ship crashed. So that kind of drew all the ones from the surrounding area. So it looks like you have kind of a clear path. And as the sun is coming up, I want you guys to roll for spot checks to see if you can find where the balloon's location is.
Thank God I got 13 on my shit, because I got a 15.
Ooh, God, Arch.
Yeah, by these rolls, I wasn't lying about not going to school, is all I'm saying.
God damn.
All right, so yeah, she definitely outdid your spot check. She rolled a 27. Purity, you're able to see that it appears the balloon that the king's nephew was in appears to be hanging out of a tree. Similar to what happened with yours, you can see that the crash site is there. It doesn't appear that there's anybody around it. It looks to be completely desolate, but you do notice that there are some things that are spread all over the ground from the crash, so you can search the area and see if you can find clues, or you can try and get the balloon out of the tree, or do whatever you want to do. And the owl bear barks.
Shut that thing up, or he's going to lead him right to us.
It's all right, little one. Sergeant Lorax goes up and pets the owlbear on the head so it shuts up. Because you're a ranger, you're able to use your track skill, which means that you guys can roll a survival check to check for anything around there that you can track with, so you can track somebody with.
I got a 26.
You got a 26? Okay, she got a 16. Kane and Arch, do you want to roll? Kane, you and Cham and Purity all are able to find what appear to be a large set of elf tracks, like a lot of them that are kind of trampled over one another, that lead off on another kind of, basically like a walking path that kind of goes through the woods on the other side. You can see a bunch of the broken foliage and stuff like that from where they all went through. It looks like a relatively large group of elves came in, and it doesn't look like, it looks like they were dragging one or two people with them, so that you can see drag marks in the ground that are relatively recent. Sergeant Lorax is pleased with all of you, and he proceeds to take the lead as you guys sponge yourselves into the jungle yet again as you're proceeding forward towards your destination. As you guys are going through the woods, you start hearing what sounds like voices and stuff that are coming from a little bit deeper into the jungle. Okay, so everybody hears this, and you guys all go to the edge of where it looks like the foliage kind of stops. It looks like there's kind of an open area, and as you peek through the foliage, you see that there appears to be a small village filled with a lot of like grass huts and stuff, and there's a lot of naked elves walking around, like butt-ass naked.
Hey, if you want the cookie, you go and get the cookie, but I'm staying out of the fucking Keebler village.
All right, so Sergeant Lorax just rolled a 21 on a search check, so he actually found on one side area of the jungle, it appears to be that there is a rather large, what appears to be man-made hole in the ground that he seems to think could lead under the village. He thinks that maybe this is where you should be going. The tracks also appear to go in that direction. Let's go, boys!
Rat tunnels?
Follow the hole. Sergeant Lorax is going to go in there, so you guys going to
I
follow
already said
him?
I'm following him.
All right.
Yeah, I'm following him.
Okay, everybody's
staying real far back.
All right, you're going to stay in the back, Arch, but everybody, you're going to follow Sergeant Lorax. Sergeant Lorax, before he goes in there, he's going to roll survival to try. He has trap finder, so he's gonna roll to try and see if he can locate any traps.
I'm gonna start crawling.
No, well, you can all roll to see if you can find traps. So it's gonna be a search check. So that's gonna be a 19 for him. Kane got a 12. Purity, you can roll as well, and Arch.
I think I found any.
Purity and Sergeant Lorax in the front. You guys notice that it appears that there's a little bit of ground that appears to be kind of different. It's sunk in a little bit, and Sergeant Lorax looks on the corner and sees what looks like a bed sheet or a little piece of fabric kind of poking out. He grabs it and pulls it away, and you see a pit filled with sharpened sticks. You then proceed to walk around it. Sergeant Lorax also notices that there appears to be a tripwire that is located right after the pit that he then very quickly cuts with his knife and moves forward.
Well, while I'm passing the spike pit, I'm gonna look down. I'm gonna speak to the probably smell that? You know what a poison us? They spread their shit all over the tips.
That's why it's all rainbow colored down there on them sticks.
Damn right. Be careful, don't fall in one of those shit.
So as you guys go forward, you begin smelling the aroma of something that is very familiar in this universe. Something that you used actually rather earlier, and the Lorax smells it and says, "Well, goddamn.
You smell that, Sergeant?
I smell that. Let's go get ourselves some elf weed."
Nah, I know this particular smell. This is green dragon.
Sergeant Lorax pulls out his revolver, and he's walking in.
Can I just grab Sergeant Lorax to stop him?
I mean, you can roll a strength roll to see if you can do that, but it's Sergeant Lorax. Well, you can persuade him not to, but he's ready to start blowing heads off. Okay, you rolled an 11. I'm gonna roll Sergeant Lorax, and this is basically going to be his will. Yeah, no, he ain't stopping. He's going right forward. So Sergeant Lorax marches forward, and as he keeps going forward, you see that the tunnel starts to open up bit by bit to the point where you don't have to crawl through it anymore. You can kind of just walk, but walk hunched over, basically. And you start hearing voices coming from deeper in the tunnel, in addition to the smell becoming progressively more profound as you keep going closer and closer.
I know Elvish.
You do? Okay, so you're going to understand what they're saying. So basically what you hear is kind of a back and forth where they're both talking about how good whatever they're smoking is. They also mention offhandedly that they took that off of somebody else.
I'm gonna roll for a spot check, see how many knife ears are in there. So okay. That's a 24.
Based on what you can see, because you can kind of see like the shadows, because there's basically a lamp in the room or some kind of a torch or something that's lighting up the area, so you can see the shadows on the wall. You see six elves that appear to be sitting in the room. You don't necessarily see very much other than that, although you do see on the wall there appears to be a few bows and stuff and some spears. But you don't see in the shadows of the silhouettes of the elves, you don't see them holding weapons. You see them holding, massive gorilla giants.
I'm gonna bring out my dagger.
Also, Sergeant Lorax is about ready to go in there and start blowing heads off.
Sergeant, I really think we should plan this out.
Done this before so many times it would make your head spin. Sit back, relax, and watch the master at work.
Is there a way we could wait for them to kind of hotbox the area, create like a smoke screen?
You can wait. You can see if you can wait for that. Sergeant Lorax is willing to sit there and get baked.
Sergeant, we should wait till all that smoke creates like a smoke screen and take them out one by one.
Make it easier. Yeah, let's do it that way. Sergeant Lorax puts away his revolver and instead takes out his large Rambo knife that he keeps on his waist.
And I'm just gonna huff.
All right, fair enough. You're gonna need to roll Constitution eventually. Okay, you're both in good shape. You're both in relatively good shape. All right, yeah, you guys are buzzed, but you're relatively okay. You guys, so after about 10 minutes, the smoke has kind of engulfed the whole area, because the other thing is that they weren't inhaling it as much as they were lighting them, inhaling them, and then leaving the smoldering bits like next to the torch. So it's kind of just gone up a lot. So there's a pretty thick smoke. So you're going to get a +2 to any kind of a stealth roll in addition to their inebriation. So Sergeant Lorax is going to move in, and he's ready to start taking out motherfuckers.
All right, I'm gonna roll as well for move silently. Yeah. I rolled an 18 for mine. Okay,
so you're able to successfully move silently. Purity, you are also able to successfully do that. Again, you guys are getting pluses to those in addition to your own things. Right. Arch, you do not. Even with the +2, you don't. Kane, do you want to roll as well?
So it's 15.
Okay, so you rolled the same thing basically as Purity. So you guys are able to move silently along with Sergeant Lorax, who basically just moves like the wind, because his move silently is also a +10. So he rolled a 27. Arch, unfortunately, you kind of like flop down on the ground like as the others have moved into position. So they all kind of look over at you and they just start laughing because they don't really know how to their brains at this point don't know how to process the situation. So as you guys are moving into the room, I'm going to give the higher rolls. So all you guys are going to get a chance to get a shot at each one of the, at least one of the elves. And again, if you have the multi-shot ability, like Sergeant Lorax does, you're going to be able to take multiple things per turn.
I'll just use my bow then.
And Sergeant Lorax is not He's just going to take one out very quickly with his knife, and since he rolled highest, he's going to go first. So I'm just going to roll for that, because he's literally just going to hop on the guy and start stabbing him in the neck. He basically just runs, because that'll be a 25. So he basically just runs up to the first guy, and he hits. So that Rambo knife is 2d8 damage. And since he's also getting the bonus because of the sneak attack, that's going to crit. So that's going to be a 26. So yeah, he just jams that knife through one of the elves' necks and just immediately kills him. So that one is dead. Now it goes down to, I believe, Cham is the next one on the list.
All right, so we're at 5 now.
You're at 5.
All right, then I'm going to shoot at the two closest to Sergeant Lorax.
Okay, so you're going to shoot at them, and they're each going to get 2 projectiles if you're going to use many shot.
Yep. Oh shit, that's a 29. So the second one is a 21.
Both of those will hit. So now you can roll for damage, and again, you're sending 2 projectiles downrange at once.
That's 16 for one of them.
And the other one
was 14.
All right, that is enough to axe both of them as well. You shoot both of them in the head with arrows, and they go down. Now it is going to, I believe, or is it? No, it's Kane. All right, you're down to 3, by the way. So
I'm gonna aim for the closest one I can.
okay, what are you aiming with? A crossbow or a bow? Your 2d10 bow.
Yeah, I'm gonna use the whatever that bow was called. So that's 15.
That will hit.
Double 8.
Damn, yeah, no. That arrow goes right through his neck and pins him to the wall in the same position that he's in. He starts laughing still, but he slowly begins gurgling on his own blood and then dies.
Bitch!
So now that you've taken care of that one, now Purity, it goes down to you. So that's a plus 11 to your attack roll. So that's actually a 16, so that's going to hit. So you can roll, if you're using your bow, that's 2d10 damage. That's a 15, that is enough. So your arrow goes through the second to last one's head, and he is dead. So there's only one remaining there after all of this has just happened. And Cham, now you can roll for your wolf. And Purity, if you want the owlbear to join in on it and devour this random-ass elf, you can do that as well.
Well, that's an 18 for the wolf.
Wolf hits. Okay, so between the owlbear and the wolf, that last elf is ripped limb from limb very quickly. So you have killed everybody in the room because they were so high on... after you have dispatched all of them, you still hear one voice, two voices, actually. And they appear to be coming from another room. If you want to do a listen check to see if you can discern what's going on, you can, or you can run in.
That's 24 for listen.
Your listen check should be 14, so that's a 24, so you will be able to hear it as well. And Sergeant Lorax has decent enough hearing. Kane and Arch, do you guys also want to do that? Because Arch, you've kind of been getting shit rolls lately.
I'm debating on whether or not just to throw a napalm grenade in this door and say fuck it.
But before you throw the grenade in, Purity and Cham both here inside the room. It sounds like one person who's talking is talking in Elvish, and they appear to be screaming at the other person who is talking in Common. And they're begging, basically, not to be harmed. So it seems like this is somebody who's a prisoner, possibly?
I can take that bet.
Get the drugs! Get the drugs!
Yeah, I don't want to get the drugs. You get the goddamn drugs, Corp.
I swear to God, Private, you don't put down the fucking grenade.
I'm gonna walk off, but I'm staring at him. He's
just still rambling as he's walking away.
Oh yeah, he's
just holding that grenade, just mumbling.
I'm gonna whisper to him like, "I'll get you some good poontang when we get back to base."
No, yo.
So Sergeant Lorax is gonna sneak his way into the room. Sergeant Lorax is not gonna sneak into the room. Sergeant Lorax walks into the room, and I'm rolling this because he is ridiculously good. So he walks into the room and immediately takes out his revolver and shoots the elf who is screaming at a man in a cage in the knee. The elf then immediately goes down, and the Lorax looks at him and says, "I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I shot you in the fucking knees."
Look, I'm gonna run in, like crouched over, hunched over, running like, "Wait, Sergeant, hold up. Let me speak to him to try to extract some information."
"Why do you think I shot him in the knee instead of the head?"
"You got a point. Let me just speak to him. Then we can pop him in the head. So
Um,
I'm gonna grab the knife ears by the hair. I'm gonna start dragging him. Get over here, motherfucker! I'm gonna throw him against the wall. I'm gonna bring out my knife. I'm like, you'll give me what we need, or you're gonna fucking die. All in Elvish.
Okay, so you're speaking in Elvish, so he can understand you. He begins sweating very profusely, and it appears that he is in an extreme amount of pain because a bullet just went through his leg.
I'm gonna jab like the knife into the bullet wound, and, like just start messing around in there.
He begins screaming.
Yeah, I'm gonna like mess around. I'm gonna pull out the knife.
The more you torture him, the less we're gonna get info because he might pass out.
Shut up!
You also have the guy in the cage.
I'm gonna go talk to the guy in the cage while he acts like an idiot.
Okay, the guy in the cage looks up at you and says, "Oh, thank God. They sent somebody to rescue us. I'm Quentin. I was the one flying the balloon." So he identifies himself as Quentin. He was the balloon driver that was operating the balloon that the king's nephew was in when it was shot down. So the king's nephew is not there, however.
Do you know what might have happened to the king's nephew?
They took him away yesterday morning. I'm not sure what they did with him. They dragged him out that way, through that hole. He points to the side. There appears to be an exit hole that goes out the opposite way from the chamber that you guys are in. And he points out, he says, they were taking him over there. They were saying something about holding him for ransom or something. I don't know exactly, but I don't know much Elvish, only enough to get by.
So break the lock of the cage and let him out.
While she's doing that, I rolled a soft 20. It was a 15 plus my intimidation for the elf.
The elf says, because you intimidated him so much, after soiling himself, he states that they did have the king's nephew, and that they were planning on using him to barter, so that they were going to keep him imprisoned and basically, threat of execution. If the kingdom ever encroaches on elven lands, they will murder him. So that's their idea. But they just transported him relatively recently, like that morning. So only like 3 or 4 hours before you guys showed up. So you may be able, if you move quickly enough, you may be able to catch him.
I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna go over to Sergeant Lorax. I'm like, relay the message. Like, they were here not too long ago. If we leave now, we could probably cut them off.
I like the way you think, kid. All right, everybody rank and file. We're moving out. You, asshole in the cage, you're coming with us too. Grab a bow and a sword.
The elf.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Sergeant Lorax just points his gun and fires it. Goes right through the elf's head. He falls over dead. Then he puts the gun back in its holster and proceeds to walk towards the exit.
We could have used it. Okay.
I'm gonna take my dagger. I'm gonna cut off one of its ears.
Hey, save one for me.
He does have 2 ears.
I'm gonna toss the ear I just cut off at him. I'm gonna cut the other one out.
Okay. So you guys gonna follow Sergeant Lorax?
I was gonna put a grenade in his mouth.
Of course you were.
You know what? That might not be a bad idea to put a cave in this goddamn tunnel. Do it.
I could do that.
So I'm assuming, Arch, this is a crafting roll?
Yes, it is.
All right, a 14.
But holy
is enough.
shit.
So you do manage to jury rig some stuff up in there, because so you are able to rig various things in the room into a rudimentary form of explosive, and you plant that near some of the supporting areas inside the tunnel so that it will collapse in on itself.
Right before he freaking puts everything, like, I'm gonna go over like, I hope you got the Dream Dragon. That shit's good.
I got everything I could carry, boss.
All right, Private. I'll meet you up. I'm gonna meet you up top.
Roger that. And I'm gonna keep laying out my little fucking bomb.
All right, you do that. Kane, are you doing anything? You're just gonna follow Sergeant Lorax outside.
I'm gonna follow Sergeant Lorax. He knows how to get us out of here alive. So
Yeah.
Damn
following
straight he
Lorax.
does. You guys are able to get out of the cave along with Quentin, who's picked up a couple of rudimentary weapons. And Arch, you have laid out some explosives inside the tunnel that you then light as you leave. And as you guys are leaving, you exit the tunnel and back into the forest, and you look back at the village which you were just under. Keep in mind, this is a village that is full of random naked elves. And after you exit, the explosion actually goes off, and the entire village implodes into the ground, into the hole. You think this may have killed a number of people, but you've caused a good amount of commotion.
Ain't she fucking pretty? Look at that barbecue.
Also, I'm assuming you lit the explosives with the napalm grenade, did you?
Absolutely.
Okay, because you also did that, that's going to continue burning, so the ground underneath is also emanating fire. So the people that fall into the hole are also being burned alive.
It's so fucking beautiful, Corp.
Sergeant Lorax pats you on the back. Good job, kid.
How the hell did you reach up here?
He then continues to go off into the woods.
I can still smell them from over here.
They're dead elves, kid. They smell even when they ain't burning.
That is true.
I remember this one time way back when we flew over this area and we dropped a whole bunch of those things all over the forest. They were trying to burn it back for some reason. Can't remember exactly why. But everything was just torched to the ground. Beautiful.
I bet smell like a fucking Christmas.
You hear what sounds like a hawk, and after a second, a hawk swoops down and picks up Sergeant Lorax, carrying him off into the atmosphere.
No! He had my pipe!
So as he's flying away, Sergeant Lorax kind of looks up and he uses the dog tags to contact you. He says, "I'll be fine, boys!" After Sergeant Lorax is carried away, you guys continue on, and as you continue on, you come to another clearing, except this one is very large, and it appears that the elves have cleared this area out as an encampment. You also notice, leading up to the clearing, that there appears to be rather large animal tracks. You can discern what these tracks are, or you can go and look around to see the camp to see what may have made them. But they are very, very big.
I'm gonna have my wolf come over, start sniffing it, and I'm going to talk to my wolf.
So you talk to your wolf, and the wolf seems to believe that it is some form of a bear, but it is a very, very large bear. Basically, that's what it is. So if you want to roll a spot check on the small campsite, you can, to see what's there and see if you can pinpoint where maybe the king's nephew and other things are.
That's 26.
Anybody else want to roll for a spot check or a listen check?
I'm going to.
11. Okay, and what's that? Is there anything in addition to that?
That's a spot check, so no.
Kane and Purity. Okay. Cham, Kane, and Purity. You guys are on Arch too, because it's kind of broad daylight. So you're all able to discern that there is a rather large encampment of elves. There's about 24 elves that are in this encampment. Various ones, warriors and archers. And in the back, you see what appears to be a dire bear that is asleep. And it has a cage on the back of it, which appears to have a man sitting inside of it. You can discern that the man is probably your target.
Oh, he looks like a bitch.
So the other thing is it is getting close to nightfall at this point. So they have made camp. This is where they will be for the night.
Let's
Alright.
wait until they're completely asleep and sneak in.
I agree.
So you wait a little while, and basically what winds up happening is that the sun goes down, and most of the elves go to sleep. There are 6 elves that are still up on guard duty, and they are stationed at the edges of the campsite.
I want to roll a spot check, see if I can find a area where it's the easiest to sneak in instead of causing a fucking combat scenario.
All right, so you're going to try and sneak in and get to the cage?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, you can roll a spot check to look for. Well, actually, you rolled a spot check earlier and you rolled a 26, so you should be able to discern that from broad daylight. So I'm going to say that the dire bear itself is located in the center of the encampment. So in order to get to it, you could probably sneak by one of the guards, but you're also going to have to tiptoe through the sleeping elves in order to get to the bear.
So who here can move silent? Can move quiet?
I think I can.
I can't. I'm too dumb and sick.
So I'm going to look at Lombax. I'm like, Lombax, me and you, we're going to go sneak in. Other two stay behind just in case. If we get spotted, take them out. You on Overwatch duty?
Yeah, sure, boss.
Find a potion of disguise, which should allow you, you or any other member of the party, to disguise themselves as an elf. Sergeant Lorax may have slipped it into your supplies earlier.
Can I roll, say, a persuasion roll on a certain teammate of mine? Cham was the one who gets the potion, yeah? I was going to convince him to give it to his wolf.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's do it.
All right, what do you want the wolf to be disguised as? Because Cham, you're going to have to communicate that to the wolf so it knows what to transform into. So do you want it to transform into an elf?
No.
What do you want it to transform into?
Lorax.
The wolf trusts you, so it will do as you command. Do you give it the potion?
Oh God, you people are stupid. My team is stupid.
Cham, you give the potion to the wolf, and it transforms into Sergeant Lorax. However, it's Sergeant Lorax who is on all fours and he barks. Okay, so what are you gonna do with this now? He's stuck like that for an hour.
That's it. I'm hiding because I know what's gonna happen.
You successfully hide because that's a 25.
I'll
Good boy.
hide too.
Roll. Oh yeah. Oh, you rolled a nat 20. You're basically fucking. You just turn invisible and they don't even fucking see you, and you just walk off.
Ghost.
So the only two that are left there right now are Arch, Cham, and Cham's wolf that has been turned into a version of Sergeant Lorax. Purity. This isn't your supplies because you went to the supply depot. So they or the requisitions area. So they actually tossed this in along with your supplies. Maybe it was by accident, but it appears to be a potion bottle with an explosive strapped to it. You're not sure what the potion does.
All right, I'm gonna aim it at the enemy. What do I have to roll?
You're gonna have to roll a strength check to chuck that thing, and you can light it right before you chuck it, so you don't have to roll for that. Oh, wow. Okay, you rolled a 19. All right, so you chuck that, and it actually explodes over the central part of the encampment. And as it explodes, it proceeds to rain the potion down over the entire encampment. More specifically, right around the area where you are. So about a little over half of the elves are affected by this potion, and that is a potion of transformation. Now, unfortunately for the elves, that potion transforms them all into rats. So they're all transformed into rats, which they'll stay that way for a while. But the explosion also wakes everybody else up in the village, including the bear. So the bear is now awake, and it is a very large bear, by the way. It's about 12 to 13 feet tall. And it is, and the other elves are also the other dozen elves that were not affected, including the 6 guards. So you guys have options here. You can either try and engage the elves, you can try and continue your stealth, but the bear is now standing up, which means that the cage on its back is now up by about, somewhere around the 14 to 15 foot mark off the ground.
Fuck it, let's engage.
All right, you're just gonna come out guns blazing. So that is a dozen elves. But I'm gonna roll because they're gonna go in teams of 2, and then the bear is also going to be attacking you as well. So are you just going out, or are you bringing Arch with you, or?
I'll go with him.
So you guys step out, but they do notice you, so that is going to initiate combat.
Alright.
So are you also, is your Sergeant Lorax Wolf also going to engage?
No, he's gonna hide.
He's gonna hide? Okay, so it's just you and Arch that are going to engage, so both of you are going to have to roll initiative, and I'm going to have
21.
to roll 7 initiative rolls for the elves, because it's going to be 2 groups of 2 elves each, and the bear.
Well, that's 21 for me.
Yeah, it's 24.
First, so what are you going to do?
I got another one of them napalm grenades. There's enough people grouped up anywhere to get hit by it.
So there's enough where if you want to hit one of the groups, or you can throw it at the bear.
I'm gonna hit the bear.
But you're going to use the grenade, so roll a strength roll to chuck the grenade in the appropriate spot, and we'll see if, and then you roll 4d6 for the damage. Alright, I'm going to say with your attack bonus, that is enough. So you're able to throw the grenade appropriately, roll 4d6 to see what happens.
Damn.
Alright, that's 15 damage. So you scorch the bear's legs, but it doesn't appear to be too terribly injured. You seem to have just pissed it off for the most part. And as that happens, all of the rats that appear to be the remaining elves that were turned into rats, are also in the middle of that kind of firestorm. So as a defense reaction, they all climb onto the bear and begin nibbling at its legs. So the bear is going to take an additional 1d10 damage from the rats gnawing at it. So that's another 9 damage. So in total, he took, that turn, the bear itself took 24 damage. So now, Cham, it's your turn.
I'm gonna be using my good old mini and rapid shot. So I'm gonna try to take out 2 guys.
Alright, so you're going to aim at a group of 2, I would assume.
Yep. The other one is 17. Well, plus my attack, that'll be 28. And 18, that is a 29.
Both of those will hit. So you can roll for damage on both.
17
Okay.
for the first one. And the other one is a 19.
All right, you're able to put an arrow through each one of their heads, so that group of 2 is down. So now there is only the dire bear who can still attack, and 5 groups of 2. But now that it is your turn is over, it is the dire bear's turn, and the dire bear does not want anything to do with either one of you. But he is very angry at Arch because of the fire grenade. So he's going to move, so he's not going to do a full attack. He's only going to be able to do 1 out of his 2 attacks because he's going to have a movement action. He's going to do a full movement action before that. But his claw attack gets a plus 19. Okay, and so that's a 29, so he's going to hit you, Arch. And he does, let's see here. He only rolled, all right, so Arch, that's 12 damage to you from the bear.
That ain't nothing, Yogi.
After the bear attacks you, Arch, it's standing over you, but the remaining rats that are still alive on top of it, that are still kind of on fire, begin crawling in the bear's mouth, and it begins kind of gnawing and eating at them. So it's going to be distracted on its next turn. So it's only going to get 1 attack, even though it's within range at this point to attack more than once per turn. That's going to happen, but now it's also going to go down to the other series of elves. So the last one there, the 3 that got rolled, that was the group that Cham killed. However, you still have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other groups of elves, and they are all now that Arch has been hit by the dire bear, they're all going to aim at you, Cham, unless the other guys want to come out of the woods and help.
Can I try sneaking up behind the bear to get up on its back for the...
It is surrounded. Well, at this point, it's over near where Arch is, which is on the sort of on the opposite side of the forest, because you moved around to one side to throw that little thing because you hid. So it'll take a full movement action for you to get up there. But yes, you can do that. The only thing you're going to do is you're not going to be able to do anything else on the turn other than get to it and roll to get up on top of it. All right, that's an 18, so you're able to move silently behind the bear. Now you're just going to have to roll a climb check in order to climb up the back of it and get to the cage where the guy is. Purity, that's your climb check, the second one there, right? The 21? Yeah. Okay, so you successfully climb up the back of the bear and you are at the cage. And that is going to be your turn. The next one, Kane, are you going to do anything? Or are you just going to sit in the woods and let everybody die?
I was planning on doing something, but I was just waiting for the right moment to strike.
Right,
well, do you want to do it now, or do you want to wait?
I might as well do it now.
Okay.
The right moment is before we're all dead. Just so
that is correct.
So I'm going to try and do a sneak attack on the bear's head. Since I'm still hiding, I should get an advantage for this, right?
That is correct. You will get a +2 because you're still concealed. And that, if you do hit, that is a critical attack. The high velocity bow, yep.
Yeah.
That will hit.
All right.
So roll for damage. And like I said, that's critted, so whatever you roll is going to be ×2.
26.
Okay, so you did 26 damage to the bear. So that hurt the bear quite a bit. You hit him in one of his eyes. So that arrow went in pretty good, though, because that bow is very, very powerful. And now all the other archers are going to be able to fire. And since they're all firing in order, I'm just going to roll them all at once. 5 sets of 2, so that's 10 d20s. 4 hits, and the other ones are all misses. So 6 misses and 4 hits. So those 4 hits, each one of those bows does 2d8 damage. And they are all aiming at Cham. So if they're all 2d8, that means it's going to be 8d8 damage. Cham, you're going to take 41 damage from those arrows. As the elves fire all of their arrows towards Cham, a massive rock hurls through the air and lands in front of him, blocking the arrows from hitting him. The arrows glance off the rock and harmlessly go into the ground nearby. As you look over from where you saw the rock come from, you see what appears to be a giant tree ant, and on its shoulder is Sergeant Lorax.
Fuck yeah.
Sergeant Lorax looks down on the battlefield and goes, "My name is the Lorax. I speak for the trees. So prepare to die, you fucking disease." He then proceeds to whisper in the tree ant's ear, which goes down, and then proceeds to football tackle the bear out of the way.
I'm on top of the bear, damn it!
Well, that's unfortunate because you're going to have to roll strength to hang on to that cage.
Fuck!
So you do not hang on. So you fly off the back of the bear and land on the ground. I'm gonna roll. You're gonna take 1d10 damage from the fall. All right, that's a 7. So you took 7 damage from the fall, but you're okay. You're just kind of bruised up. But the tree ant then proceeds to start smacking the dire bear repeatedly as the remaining elves appear to be kind of skittish, but they begin immediately aiming at the tree ant and not paying attention to you guys. So all that 41 damage is then going to also be, they're going to fire again, and I'm just going to say it's going to hit again in the same order. They're going to do 41 damage to the tree ant, which then proceeds to keep smacking the shit out of the bear as it's on the ground. That's what I figured he meant by it. So, yep, so you don't take that 7 damage, so you're okay. Sergeant Lorax saved all of you by coming in with the tree ant, and the bear is now distracted, so you guys can take out the remaining elves while while the tree ant is dealing with the bear.
Thank you, Sergeant Lorax.
I'm Sergeant Lorax. This is the shit I live for.
We need to get you a hobby.
I have a hobby. It's called killing elves
Fair enough.
and talking to trees.
Fair enough.
By the way, that's Steve. He points over to the tree that keeps smacking the dire bear while it's on the ground. The tree stops for a second, looks over to Purity, and waves at you for a second when you mention its name, then goes back to smacking the bear. This might also be an opportunity for you to remove the cage.
Hey, do you guys want me to do it, or one of you guys gonna do it?
Okay, well that's fine. If she wants to do that, then she can do it on her turn. But the cage is actually attached to the bear. So as the bear fell down, the rope that was holding the cage on snapped. So the cage was able to fall off of the bear and is sitting on the ground. So you should be able to open the cage without getting too close to, the bitch smacking going on. But we will get to that on your turn. So Arch, what exactly? So you want to attack one of the? Are you aiming with your bow? Or are you aiming with your crossbow?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can aim with your crossbow. Roll to attack.
Got a 17, boss.
That'll hit. That's 15. That's enough to take one of them out. So you shot him through the back, right through the neck. So he goes down. His buddy's still there though, but his buddy is too busy aiming his arrows at the tree ant that's beating the shit out of the dire bear. So now it goes down to Cham.
All right, fucking multi-shot, fucking rapid shot. Let's go, baby. So
Roll your doubles.
all right, that's a 15,
Okay, that is enough to hit.
and that is a soft 20.
That is definitely enough to hit. So both of those will hit their targets.
That's a 9. That's a 9. That's an 18 for the first one. God damn it. That's an 18 again.
Those are 2 kills, so those 2 guys are down. The elves are in disarray. As you guys are slowly picking those off, you see what appears to be an elven shaman emerge from the corner of the woods.
I swear to God, if he brings back the dead.
No, he does not bring back the
I
dead.
swear to God.
No, he does not. So what he does is he casts a spell, and he's kind of like a druid, but he casts the spell on the dire bear, and the dire bear proceeds to heal some of its wounds and looks up at the tree ant as it fires laser beams out of its eyes. Those each do 2d10 damage, and that's going straight for the tree ant. And since it's point blank, I'm not going to roll for attack. They are going to hit.
Steve, no.
So that's 23 damage to the tree ant. So the tree ant is still pretty okay. There's not too much wrong with him, but he did take enough singeing to get him off the bear for a change. The bear did heal about 10 health from that blast, in addition to gaining the short-term ability to fire laser beams from its eyes for 1 turn. You also still have that elven mage that is over there in the corner. Now that that's all said and done with, now it goes down to, I believe, Kane.
Kane, go after the elven mage.
I mean, I'm down.
You are well within range to shoot him if you want to try and do that.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so roll to attack. 16 is appropriate. That will hit. And
Alright.
so you're using your 2d10 bow, so you can roll that.
Nice.
All right, 15. You put an arrow right through his neck, and he goes down. So that's another snipe off for you. So he's not going to be casting that laser beam spell on that bear anymore. But and he's not doing much anymore. He's on the ground, bleeding profusely from his neck. So you sniped him with 15 damage from the shadows. At the same time, Purity, do you want to engage in combat? If not, then it's going to go to the remaining elves.
I was gonna try to go get the cage again.
Okay, if you want to go do that now, you can go do that. So you're going to try and go and unlock the cage?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to use, so you're going to roll a d20, and you're going to add onto that your, I believe it's literally called open locks. Yeah, open lock. So you do not unlock the cage. The cage is still locked, and he's still in there. But
He's
he
been
comes
amazingly silent this entire time.
up. Well, that was what I was about to get to. So he comes up. He's, oh my god, they've been doing nothing but asking me for more weed for the last 4 days, and I don't know how. They want me to grow it, but I don't know how.
Wait,
Please, God.
that's all they wanted is weed?
That's all the soldiers wanted.
I have an idea. If they switch to our side, we'll get them lots and lots of weed.
Roll a diplomacy check. I'm gonna roll collectively for the elves. Okay. So the remaining elves, seeing what horrors have happened already, agree to give up in exchange for more weed because they can just say that a bunch of Calgar people came and killed all their friends, or like a jungle beast or something like that. Except the only thing is that the elves are okay with stopping, but the dire bear is not. The dire bear is going to keep mauling.
Aim your arrows at the dire bear, please.
You rolled high enough and they rolled low enough where that is still possible. So their attack rolls are going to go against the dire bear, and I believe there are 5 of them remaining. So I'm going to roll 5 d20s. The first 2 hit, the last 3 do not. Each one of those is, I believe I said, was 2d8. So that's going to be 4d8 damage. So that's going to be 11 damage to the dire bear, so that basically just kind of negates the healing well that just happened to him. So he's still in relatively good condition. But now it's also going to go down to the treant, who is going to unleash his true hatred and pain onto the thing. And in addition to that, Sergeant Lorax is also going to get a turn should the treant fail.
Go, Steve!
Yep. So Steve's gonna go. So he gets a slam attack per turn, which is a +10. So I'm going to roll that. So he rolled a 6. So he misses with the slam attack. The bear kind of backs out of the way. However, Sergeant Lorax is there. And Sergeant Lorax has pretty much all the same things that Cham does, except he has it in revolver form. Because he holds 2 revolvers in his hands. And he's going to unload those things on that dire bear. So he's going to roll 2d20, 1 for each gun. Both of those will hit. So and also both of those will crit because they're both within 17, so both of those totals will double. So he does 68 damage to the bear in 1 turn. The bear dies. Sergeant Lorax riddled the thing with revolver bullets until it fell down and died. He then stands on top of it with the gun still smoking in his hands and looks down upon you. Good job, boys. This is the best adventure I've had in a long time.
I'm going to aim at the elves.
Hell no, you're not! They're on our side now!
Nope, they're elves.
I'm joining them.
Sergeant,
Okay.
help me!
They're elves, Sergeant.
Certainly, I'll help. The sergeant is going to roll to kill the elves as well.
Damn it!
Okay, so all of you guys roll attack rolls. There are all going to be attacks of opportunity because the elves are not expecting it after the sudden truce.
I really tried.
However, you do see that your wolf that is still in the form of Sergeant Lorax, which confuses the shit out of him, by the way, comes up with a dead rat in its mouth and presents it to you. He sits there and barks.
So I rolled a 27 and a 21.
Yeah. Oh God, Arch, you.
Yep.
So that's gonna double, right? Because you rolled a 20.
Yep.
So that's 24 damage. So yeah, that elf is dead. Both of Sergeant Lorax's attacks hit.
18.
One of them crits.
18 and 16.
Both
18
of those
and
will
16.
hit and kill their targets. That means there's only 2 left, and Sergeant Lorax just has to roll his damage. So the first one, which rolls an 11, that's going to crit to a 22. That is going to kill one, and the other one is enough to maim the. Since it doesn't crit, it's enough to maim the other elf enough where he's pretty much disabled. However, Sergeant Lorax proceeds to go down to him and say, "This is for being an elf." He then puts one through his head, and then the encounter is over. He looks over to Steve and says that he is very proud to serve with him one more time. He also asked Steve if he would transport them out of the forest, since nobody's going to fuck with the treant. Killed all the elves. You have killed the dire bear, and the only thing is that The king's nephew is still stuck in the cage. However, the treant reaches his hand down and simply breaks the cage apart to free him.
Thank you,
so
Steve.
The treant, Steve, basically Sergeant Lorax, climbs up on his shoulder and says that you guys can have a ride. He's going to bring you out of the forest. That way you don't have to deal with any more fuckery.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, let's go.
You guys all pile onto the treant, and he carries you out of the forest. And you guys are able to rescue the king's nephew, and you have successfully completed Fantasy Vietnam.